All right. So just a little mini presentation, mostly just to give you guys some like, I don't know if you remember a couple weeks ago when we were first talking about body talking, I just gave a list of questions to start thinking about, to start asking. And so this is more for questions if like a younger self shows up, like if inner child happens to show up, or like if we need to speak to inner child. So it's mostly just for that. So let me put that on. And then we'll get going. Oh, it started at the beginning. Just 1 second. Click all the way through. Okay. Okay, so essentially a negative belief system happens because a traumatic event is too painful or the truth is too painful to bear. So something happens, it's too painful, it's traumatic. And so instead of leaning into that or looking at it or processing it, maybe because we're not developmentally able, maybe because we don't have the tools, um, we end up going into another belief system or creating belief systems in order to avoid this trauma. And the new belief system can sometimes be a negative one, depending. So the undeveloped minds, this is usually what happens with children. The undeveloped mind and the broken heart is not sure how to make sense of the situation, makes assumptions and formulates belief. So essentially, a child feels that they are the center of the universe. So if something bad happens, it must mean that it's about them. So an example would be that parents get divorced. The child then thinks, well, my dad left because I'm bad. And that becomes the negative belief system. It has nothing to do with the child. It's just that that's how the child can then make sense of the world. And then that I am bad or I am not worthy becomes the negative belief system that sits in the unconscious for a really long time and can change our life and create other patterns and create all sorts of issues. So this devastating thought or belief takes over the primary belief. So the I am bad and I'm not worthy takes over the actually I'm worthy. This has nothing to do with me, because the child doesn't have the ability to do that. We just make assumptions. And it doesn't have to be children. This could be about other things too. Usually starts in childhood. And then say in this future, this same child whose father left, say they have a fight with a friend and there's a friend breakup and the friend decides not to be friends. So then this negative belief system can come in unconsciously or consciously and take over. And now suddenly the story is, well, we're not friends anymore because I'm bad. And it becomes about you. Oops. So within that, we then create what I call or is called subpersonalities. So it's a separate, it says not separate. I mean, it's not separate in the sense that it's still the person, it's still you of the person's consciousness or unconsciousness. So that part of you in the original example, that part of me that suddenly believes I am bad because my father left, isn't necessarily separate from me, but it becomes like almost like the split personality or this sub belief. And if it's not integrated, this primary self, if this issue isn't dealt with, this I am bad, the primary self is compromised. I become compromised because that becomes the new way that I look at the world. And it usually carries a deep wound. It can take on the age of the trauma. So in this example, if my father left when I'm 4, that part of me, that subpersonality, usually has the voice of a 4-year-old. It usually has the lens of a 4-year-old and sees the world as an inner 4-year-old. So obviously then, if I'm viewing the world as a 4-year-old, it's really hard to have relationships and see the world in a different way. It can take on its own beliefs, intentions, agendas, and directions. So a sub-personality can be that part of you. It's like, I don't know if I've talked to you guys about this, but I call my inner critic Sally. Like I gave her a name. I recognize that she's a sub-personality of me. She's my inner critic. She's the one that's telling me I'm not doing things good enough. She's the one telling me that I'm charging too much. She's the one that's saying like, I'm not working hard enough. I didn't do this well. I need to work harder. Like Sally is a slave driver. That's my inner critic. And so Sally has her own set of beliefs and intentions and agendas and directions. Like Alicia, inner me knows it's totally okay to take a nap on the couch and take rest and to have like rest time. But Sally doesn't necessarily think that. So there gets to be some conflict sometime in a whole separate sub personality that has its own way of thinking. And it can feel like an enemy, like, oh God, Sally, stop. And Sally thinks I'm the enemy because I'm not doing something that she would want to do. So you can kind of see how we can create sub personalities. And obviously, Sally is me. My inner critic is me. It's the lens that I took on the world as a child for whatever reason, whatever happened. And now sitting with that and making that a conscious part of me. And oftentimes we do everything we can to ignore it. So for a really, really, really long time, I would hear the inner critic and I would hear Sally, but I would do everything in my power to not listen to her and just get agitated and frustrated by her. The healing comes. So again, this could almost be a sub-personality or a fragment. The healing comes when we start to address this part of us rather than lean away from it. So in my case, in this example, Sally's not a younger voice, but oftentimes trauma occurs when we're children. The first time we take on a belief system is a child. So it shows up as a younger state. So when a younger state shows up, talk to them just like you would a child because it's taken on the personality of a child. Nice can be triggering sometimes. And the reason why is because sometimes perpetrators are nice and then the perpetration happens, really depends on the situation. So just the child gets to be in charge. So being nice isn't a way to make things better. It's about solving the problem. It's about helping them feel safe. It's about validating how they feel. It's about confirming they're not in trouble or they didn't do anything wrong, because that's usually the perspective that the child takes, is that they're in trouble, they've messed up, they made a mistake. Sometimes an inner child voice needs time to get comfortable, and this can be true for other voices as well or other sub-personalities. It's like they don't trust really what's happening in the situation and they need a minute to like dip their toe in the water and start to feel comfortable. And especially with younger states, especially really young states like babies and infants, they might not have a language. They might not be able to tell you what's happening in an extreme trauma as well, because we've learned that language goes out the window. And so it really might start to be like all about sensation, all about sitting in silence with them, all about being with them, because that's what was missing. So again, this slide is just mostly questions for you guys to have for the future. And I'm not saying like ask these questions. This is not something that you have to follow. This is just something to kind of get you to start to think about, like, how old are you? Where are you? What are you wearing? Who else is there? What do you need to feel safe? Like, do we need to call in a resource? Like we've talked a couple weeks ago, and you might even call in a resource in advance. A lot of times, not always, but the issue is between mother and father, because that's where we're learned. Those are our attachment figures. That's who we're with. So it's like, what is your mother and father doing or saying? Like, how are you getting in trouble? Like, what is happening? As always, how does that feel in your body? How does your little one feel about getting in trouble or being yelled at or, I don't know. Could be anything. All sorts of stuff happened to us as kids that we remember for whatever reason. What decision did you have to make? So oftentimes we're forced to make a decision. We're forced to create an adaptive response. And that becomes the adaptive pattern. So what were you forced to do? And how did that affect you? How did that then play out into the rest of your life? So we're bringing awareness into, this is a negative belief. And now it's played out into the rest of my life. Sometimes you have to give up something as a child. You have to give up innocence. You have to give up your playtime. I see that one the most. And it's like kids just want to play and they didn't get that. They didn't get their time to be a kid and they want that. So what did they have to give up? And how did that affect them through the rest of your life? I love this one of like, what if your little one could see you now? Like see that you survived or see that you're okay or see that you have kids of your own. Like that can be really healing for the inner child and current you to make some sort of connection. And as a child, like, are you able to share and show how you really feel? Because oftentimes, it's like something happens to a child and in their world, it's like the biggest deal. But to the parent, it's like, oh, that's nothing. Like, stand up, shake yourself off, move on. You're fine. And of course, we don't want to be helicopter parenting, but it's those situations. It's like, well, in this moment, I didn't really get to be comforted. I didn't really get to be nurtured. I didn't get to talk about how I was sad. So allowing the child to be witnessed and heard and seen that they were sad or that they felt something, and allow that to be really seen and felt and heard. So a lot of it is about just being seen, felt, and heard, witnessed in situations where that didn't get to happen. So that is that. Any questions on like young states, inner child states, young ones? I mean, you can call them whatever you want, inner child, babies, little one. Just like body parts, you can ask them their name, which can get interesting because they often have the same name as the person you're working with. But sometimes kids have nicknames that they went by as a kid, so you could refer to them as that. And today specifically, we're not going into like, and now we're doing inner child, just how a couple weeks ago we started to go into like conception and pregnancy. It's not like now we're going into conception and pregnancy. We're literally opening up this container in the field to say, we're going to work with whatever's coming up, like we saw with Diana last week. It's like, I couldn't have predicted that was where that session was going to go. So, Crystal, how are you feeling? Are you exhausted? Do you feel up to facilitating with some help?
Yeah, I mean, I think I can do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I need the practice too, so I want to do it.
Okay. And Steph, are you open to receiving today? Okay. So as always, and Crystal, you can choose to pin. I'm going to unpin me, but you can choose to pin Steph. You don't have to if you want to see all of us.
You're good. I'll just look at you.
Yeah. And as always, I'm here. And you weren't here last week, but Tracy facilitated Diana. Did you watch the replay?
I haven't gotten a chance to.
Okay. No problem. I ended up jumping in quite a bit at the end because we started working with Diana's baby a little bit. And so like this is a team process. But I also want you to do the best that you can. If there's a learning moment, I am going to jump in.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have up to an hour, but don't feel like you have to take an hour. It's just like whatever you need for the process and for you and whatever feels good.
Oh God. I'm used to dealing with men. This is so much harder.
Oh my gosh. I feel like it's so much easier because women will just like tell you everything.
The whole like dropping into your body thing, like even with Eliza, I like kept like opening my eyes because I couldn't focus. Like I couldn't do it. So, oh God, this is okay. Can I do this? Can I do this? Can I do this?
I'm going to mute
That
myself.
sounds really daunting right now.
Here, what if I get it started?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to get you started. I'm just going to drop the first so actually, Steph, where are you at? Like, you're in a really cool place, actually. You might not think it's cool, but you've had a really big realization the last couple of weeks, and I would just love to know, where are you with everything?
In a good place, I think. Um, Actually, several things have really started to shift when I stopped planning and I stopped thinking and I stopped overanalyzing. Um, some work changes just actually started popping up without me doing anything. Um, that I was like, wow, that I just stopped. Look what came. Um, so that's really good. I've got, I think, some clarity and some relationships that were, I don't want to say unhealthy, but were, I've just seen a few things differently and how maybe I can approach and support friends as the support they need and not what I think needs to happen, but what they need at the moment. And that's actually taken a big stress off of me. So it's actually just like, yeah, I feel calm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So if there's anything that's like, and again, that's what's so interesting about opening up this to facilitation is we don't need to pick a scab that doesn't need to be picked, right? Like we're not hunting around looking for scabs. My question to you is like, is there anything that's like you're unsure about and especially with Crystal too, because you guys have similar job stuff, right? Like Crystal could hold a really good space for you for that. I'm just wondering, like, what kind of is like kind of still kind of irking you or questions about? Doesn't have to be job, but that was just a thought.
Like without really trying to find that tiny scab to pick. And you get scared to say this, like, oh, don't jinx something, but nothing. I mean, I know I still want to make some changes in my life for sure. But change is for real starting to happen now. It is like the realization is happening and things are in motion. And I feel like I just need to kind of keep riding with that and see where it goes and see how I feel about the different opportunities that have like come up just this week. I really don't have anything to pick at right now.
It's good. Maybe someone should just do me then, because I'm just a mess.
Yeah, I know. I mean, essentially, you get some free, amazing coaching from Crystal. You can ask her anything.
Yeah,
Do you have any guilt about leaving your job?
no, that I do not. And actually, I had a couple work calls this morning, and someone who I have been very close with at my job, like, I mean, she's in a different state, as you know, the companies are, no one is in the same state anymore. And she's been a good mentor and friend and someone I could confide in for years at this job. And I just like flat out said, I'm burnt out and I'm leaving. I am leaving. And she's like, no, you can't leave. And I said, well, I'm not doing this stupid job anymore. And so she's like, I will move you into this. I will, So I mean, even that, like, I have no guilt because openly telling people at my work, I'm leaving. But it's opening up a couple things, different places I could move with it. And I'm not even sure if I would want to, but as what I said this week, like I've had several opportunities that have just opened up. And then now I feel like what I need to do is not like make that knee-jerk reaction of like, oh, I'll take the first offer that comes just to make a change. Like, let me just not think about it. I think about it, but not think about it and see what feels right. I mean, soon, jobs don't hang open for months on end, but that guilt is not there at all. And I'm just not even going to be worried about telling my parents because they don't need to know anything right now. I just need to do this for me. And I've had a good long talk with my husband about it. Because it will impact him if my income changes or I need him to put me on his insurance. I still have that little bit of planner in me, but he's easy to talk to. That wasn't, I don't think that was the one that was holding me back, I mean, he's been even supportive if I said I'm gonna go work at the Starbucks, he was like, okay, so yeah, so I think that's been a big shift of just clearing that, and it's allowed some things to come in that maybe, I was blocking somehow before.
What do you want to do?
That is a really good question. I worked in pharmaceutical research for almost 20 years. And I started this job because I graduated from college and I didn't know what I wanted to do. And so I went back to school for an advanced degree. And then I graduated from that and I still didn't know what I wanted to do. And someone that I went through that program with worked in research and his company was hiring and it was time to pay my student loans back. And so I was like, well, I guess I'll take this job because my student loans are coming due and I'll figure out, what I want to do. And then 20 years later, still in that industry, which is how I ended up in this industry. And even now it's like, I don't know. Yeah, to say I want to switch gears to I don't know, be a chef, be a teacher. I don't know. There's nothing that's calling me. And I think I used to feel guilty and stressed, not guilty, stressed about it, that like, oh my God, am I just this big loser because I don't know what I want to do? And now I just really don't stress that anymore either. I'm like, I don't know, something will come and yeah. So, and I think that's part of it too, when I was thinking of changing jobs, I didn't even know where to look because I didn't have a big, strong desire to, like I said, go be a teacher or go, so I don't know. We'll just see kind of the things that are coming up where it might lead. Part-time, I would love to switch to a part-time position. What do I want to do? I want to work part-time. I want more free time. That's what I want to do.
So let's talk about your parents. Right? I definitely have experience with that. What comes up for you about fear of telling them?
Even now thinking about it is a total different feeling than 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, whenever that conversation happened. I mean, I still feel like a little bit of nerves, but before I was like, I mean, I really think it was something that was just stopping me from making a change. Thinking of having to have that conversation was way more stressful than like just keeping in my current situation. And now it's like, I mean, I guess it's just not even a thought to me right now. Like right now, I need to take care of myself. There's opportunities coming to me, and I need to feel and figure out what is right. And then when I do make that change, I will tell them.
Mhm.
So I'm feeling better about that too.
Yeah. I got nothing else, Leisha. I'm like,
Yeah, I have a question for you, Crystal. The I don't know what I want to do. What does that remind you of in everything that I mean, there's been a lot of information, but does anything come to mind with that?
anything be like subconscious or shadow, but I could be wrong.
Mhm. So Steph, when you drop into the feeling in your body of I don't know what to do, where do you feel that in your body?
Right now, really nowhere.
Mhm.
I mean, and nowhere in a good way. It used to cause me a lot of anxiety. Like I said, that I didn't like what I was doing, but I don't know what I want to do. And then that would make me anxious. And now I'm kind of like, eh, like it doesn't really, I don't feel it, but in a good way, I don't feel it.
Okay. Not in a like more of a tendency to avoid it or to disassociate it way.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Okay. So here's where my brain goes, but I'm just going to tell you guys this is what I'm thinking. So I don't know what I want to do reminds me of almost like conception or egg state.
Hey, what? I didn't understand what you
I
said.
wasn't sure if you were on, I don't think you were on that call, Steph, like pre-conception, conception,
Oh,
implantation, maybe in utero, but it feels like it's kind of opposite of free fall, Crystal. Free fall is like, I'm coming and here it comes, or like I wasn't ready and I fell.
Yeah.
This is opposite. This is like, I don't know what I want to do. Do I want to be on this planet? Do I want to implant? I'm kind of frozen, but it's so subconscious. It's so deep in there that it's like a distant memory. That's where my brain goes.
So do you usually always bring it back to one of those stages?
It depends. If they are like kind of in Steph's case where they're like, yeah, I have this feeling, but I don't know where this even comes from.
Okay, that makes sense.
And so the other thing it could be is ancestral or past life as well, the epigenetic piece. So just clinical reasoning wise, that's kind of what I listen for that. I just am listening for the different things. And that's what it makes me think of. So me, I just, again, in a real life situation, I would probably ask to muscle test. In a real life situation, Steph would probably be coming and being like, I have this issue. Right. And we're kind of forcing this issue a little bit. I will admit that. But this is where you could start to muscle test or just take a minute and tune into your own body, Crystal, and be like, is this ancestral? Is this past life? Is this conception? And you might get no for all of those. Like, we don't know. Steph, when I say any of those things, past life, ancestral, conception, does anything bring like a little little bit of curiosity, just a little flutter?
Maybe ancestral, but I don't know if that's just more, ooh, that sounds interesting. Versus I felt something. I mean, really, I have to say the way I've been feeling this past week is very different than how I felt in a while, but in a good way. I mean, it really feels like a lock got unlocked. And then that unlocked stuff took some time to like mess around in my body, but is now found its way out. And it's almost like my system is saying, just enjoy this feeling for a little bit. Like, don't force anything else on us right now. We have not felt this calm in a long time. Let's just enjoy this for a minute. And with that, maybe some things will start to happen, which they are. And so I've really been just kind of that just calm feeling. But so to go back to your question you asked, I got a little sidetracked, is ancestral, but I didn't really feel anything when you said that other than a slight curiosity, intellect curiosity, not a, oh, that hit me here or here, you know.
And Crystal, what do you tune into as she's talking or as we bring those three pieces up? What's happening in your body?
The ancestral kind of hit for me.
Okay. So when we're talking about somatic resonance, that's it. Like both of you were like, oh, interesting. And we talked about how if there's no signs of trauma and nothing's happening, but why is this issue still here? Epigenetics, ancestral, birth imprint, like birth imprints is usually when we look to those. So Steph, do you feel like your system would still stay calm even if we address some ancestral stuff?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Do you feel okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Crystal, have you ever addressed ancestral stuff before?
The first time you did it for me was the first time I've ever experienced it.
Okay. All right. So just keeping in mind that like we just carry imprints from our genetics, from our genes, from our ancestors, and consciously or unconsciously we carry that in our system, and it just asks for a lot of trust and letting go on both parties, on Steph's party and my party, like, and Crystal's. Like it just means that because there's no way to know if this is like true, right? We lost Tracy. It's true for Steph's body, right? It's true for what's showing up in the field or the system or the container. And that's what matters. So I just think of the best way to do this. Crystal, what's the best way for you to kind of learn this process for you?
What's coming up for me right now is probably just to watch.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to take over a little bit if that's okay, but I would love for you, if something pops up in your awareness, I want to know, chime in. So again, there's no way to like know what happened other than just trust what's coming up for your body and your own intuition, Stephanie. So we're going to rely on your own, just your own intuition, just trusting that it has significance no matter what shows up, right? So just take a few breaths and drop into your body so that you get out of the head. And drop into your heart space. to this, maybe your solar plexus, maybe your womb. And without worrying too much about story or what happened, all we're asking is, what do we need to know? What do we need to know in order to benefit you and to benefit your ancestors, benefit the family system as a whole? And this feeling of kind of like, I don't really know what to do. Like, I feel a little stuck. I just am unsure of the next steps. Trusting what you hear. Is that coming from your mom's side or your dad's side?
I think my dad's.
Okay. And then again, just trusting what you hear. Is it your dad's or does it go further back?
Further back.
Okay. Trusting what number you hear. How many generations?
A few. I don't really hear a number.
Okay. Do you hear a year by chance? Sometimes there's a year that drops in.
No.
Okay. Is it okay if I muscle test for you?
Yes.
So Steph is generation 1. The client is always generation 1 because the client is the focus. Steph's dad is 2, and we go back 9 generations for this. So like 7 greats, I think. Steph's like, whoa. So another question I like to ask is, and trust Steph what you hear, does it feel like this stays in the masculine line? Is this a masculine energy, a masculine thing?
I think so, but it's not real clear.
Yeah. Are you an only child?
Yes.
Okay. So something I've seen with ancestry is that if it stays in the masculine line, but Steph now has it, she has it because there's no males in her family beyond her. It's like she's it. So it's switched over to the feminine line. And some issues can go back and forth, like male, female, male, female, male, female. But when we're thinking also epigenetics, the things that are coming through the line are like survivors of war. And who goes to war 9 centuries ago? Men. So it's like, and survivors of torture. Men, right? When we're going this far back, kind of this time frame. And like, don't always assume that's the case. If it's a more feminine thing, it's oftentimes around having to be quiet, not showing up how she wants to, sexual abuse. Like there is definite more like male issues and female issues that show up. So just kind of keeping that in mind with these different energies. Any of that, like any of that spark an interest to you stuff, or just go, oh, that's significant.
The female stuff when you started to talk was like, no. The male didn't really resonate. I was just kind of neutral, but the female was like, nope, not it. So by default, that leaves male. I guess that's what's left.
Yeah. In that time frame, right?
Yeah.
9 generations ago, male was
Yes.
male.
Yes.
So it's interesting, Crystal, because you do work with masculine and feminine energy, that it's like, yeah, it's just interesting that this is what came up. Do you know anything about your family line stuff?
Well, and that's the other interesting thing. No, no. My dad is also an only child, and his dad left the picture when he was very, very young. My dad grew up not knowing his dad. And so it was just him and his mom. And they grew up, or he grew up in Ephraim. You know, if you're not from Utah, you may not know, but it's very, and at the time, well, Ephraim still is, but 70 years ago, farm town. He grew up as a total farmer, pig farmer and turkey farmer and hay and alfalfa, and him and his mom, my grandma, two uncles he had, my grandma's brothers were sheep herders. I mean, a very farming, upbringing, but it was just him and his mom, and that was it. And he heard, gosh, I can't remember when this was, 20 years ago, that his dad had passed away like 2 years prior. And I remember my mom saying to him, oh, well, he was buried somewhere, I think in California. And it was like, oh, do you want to go out and see your father's grave? And my dad was like, no, the stranger. Like, why would I travel to a stranger's grave? So because of that, he never really had a big interest to know about his dad. And I think because of that too, I didn't either. I was like, well, you don't want to be in the picture, we don't need to dig up stuff on him. And I know about the family that I know about and love, but I don't know, maybe some of this is linked to that.
Yeah, just some just a little bit of some generational system healing asking to kind of take place. And who knows what it will unlock for you. As you're saying, I'm starting to feel amazing. Like, what if this is like the last little subconscious piece? Because a lot of time ancestral, and we're going to get into this on Monday, actually on Monday's handout. It's like, this is almost happening 2 days early. Like, what we're healing when we're looking at these ancestral lines and why they come through to be healed. So, and again, it's not about getting stuck in the story. It's not about getting stuck to the outcome, like, if we end up knowing the story, great, but it's like, that's not necessarily the point. The point is just to create whatever kink is in the energy field ancestrally is to not have that kink anymore. Whatever that looks like. Is your grandma still alive?
No.
Okay.
No. She passed away when I was in high school.
Okay. So essentially it's you and your dad and your mom. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So what I'd love for you to do, again, just drop back into your body and out of your head. And taking a few breaths. And just seeing if anything else wants to come through. It might not, but just trusting if any thoughts, any sensations, any visions, as you start to feel into this story of like, I don't know what I want to do, connecting to your grandpa from 9 generations ago.
There's just there's just no No, I didn't really feel anything.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask another way. Why is this? This might be for me too. I'm just going to kind of see. Why is he coming into our awareness? Like, why is he showing up?
Who? My grandpa?
Great,
Or
great, great 9 generations grandpa.
I don't know.
Is there someone here who does know?
It's kind of like yes, but they either can't speak or don't want to.
Okay. What would happen? Just trust what you hear. What would happen if they did speak?
Almost like feel angry. Like I'm not angry, but he would be angry.
Okay. So just let him know that we don't need to know the story. We don't need to know what happened. We actually don't. That's not what's important. All we're trying to do is help Steph have some clarity about what she wants to do with her life.
That made me laugh. That one made me laugh. At 50, maybe I'll figure it out.
That's when we figure it out, I think, anyway.
Uh-huh.
Stay where you are, Steph. I'm just gonna kind of feel in what I'm sensing is like and what I'm putting together from what I've seen in my reasoning. When Steph said, well, there's some anger. So if the story comes out, if whatever happened comes out, it's like he doesn't want that, makes him angry. Like whatever's happening brings up some agitation. And so he's like, don't speak it. Whoever here knows, don't speak it. That makes me angry. So we always honor the ancestors. Always. They showed up for healing and they showed up to help, but we're not going to just be like bypass what they're asking. So we don't need to know the story. Like, and so I'm letting the ancestor know, like, okay, fine, hear you. So again, I'm becoming the facilitator for whatever conflict is happening. But he did show up. So he's in the awareness. Looking at Steph's like, I don't know what I want to do. And that made her giggle. That was interesting. What do we need to know? What can we speak? Either through Steph or through me or Crystal or Tracy. And no offense, sometimes with really old men, we have to like hold a firm ground.
I don't know why I keep
Trust it.
hearing like something in another country. Like, I don't even know what that means, but different country.
Mm.
What I keep getting.
Yeah. And just keep sitting with it with no expectations. Just allow some time.
like different country, different time, different way. I just kind of keep hearing those three things over and over.
Okay. So oftentimes when there's a trauma in the past for ancestral, and I describe it on Monday and to you, Steph, as a kink. So something happens and it creates like an energetic ripple in the pond, just like you throw a rock and it creates a ripple. So whatever happened and that he doesn't want us to talk about or to know 9 generations ago was in a different country, it's in a different time, it's in a different place. So usually whatever happened, whatever thing that person experienced or did, they did it as a way to survive. And they did. Like, it's amazing. They survived, and you're here because of it. However, it's usually like something bad happened in order for survival to take place. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So this whatever happened, what I'm feeling and like what it sounds like to me was like it was in a different country, it was in a different place. Like I had to. So that's what the times called. That's what the times called for. And that's the case with war too. It's like men get sent to war and they suddenly are killing people. It's what they had to do. They didn't have a choice. But I mean, regardless, they didn't have a choice. That still sent kinks down into the epigenetics and the family lines, right? So we're honoring that, like, yeah, what you did was actually amazing because I have life because of it. And I'm honoring the fact that you probably didn't have a choice. And the choice that he made created a kink around, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm guessing he was put in a situation where he had to make a difficult decision, and that the thought process was, I don't know what to do. And then he makes a decision, and then whatever that decision is, who knows? Again, I'm just like making this up from what I see and hear and feel in sessions, and know that I don't know what to do for whatever reason, turned on some DNA or turned on some stuff in your family line, and it gets expressed as that. So it's almost like who does your grandpa, even though I know he's great, I'm just calling him grandpa. Like, yeah, like we're just gonna acknowledge, because trauma happens in aloneness. We're just gonna acknowledge, like, yeah, different country, different place, different time. You probably didn't have a choice. And as I say that, what happens to your nervous system in your body? Anything?
Nothing happened in my body, but my thinking mind said, yes, that makes sense.
Yeah. So reiterating to Steph that there is no wrong decision. No matter what you choose to do, there is no wrong decision.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to choose what you want to do. Your grandpa didn't have that choice.
Yeah.
And so, actually, how can you honor him by relishing in the fact that you get to make a decision with your life? Like, you get to do whatever you want to do. And that's new for this generation.
Mm-hmm.
That's a new concept.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Almost to the point where we get frozen by it, right?
Yeah. Too many choices. Like you go to the restaurant and there's too many choices on the menu, and then I just say to the server, just bring me something. I can't look at this menu, it's too many choices. Yeah.
Yeah, so notice how making decisions, even in small things, kind of plays out in your life right now.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Leisha, I'm not sure if he's still angry. I'm getting something coming through.
Yeah, is it okay, Steph, if she talks?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, great. Go for it, Crystal.
Is he still angry? He might be. Yeah, something's coming through about that yeah, he was forced to go to war, and that he, didn't have the choice, and that's why he's resentful.
Yeah. That definitely turns on a DNA marker.
Mhm.
So from a trauma perspective, how can we honor him actually? How can we sit with him in that fact?
Hmm. I'd say
And Crystal, I'm going to see, Crystal, before you answer, I'm going to see if Steph gets anything.
No, I wasn't. No.
Go ahead, Crystal.
I'm getting just asking for guidance on what he thinks maybe would make him happy, and maybe it'll come through that'll also make her happy.
I like that.
Yeah, like sometimes just starting to honor our ancestors can bring a lot of those kinks. They can just start to clear up a little bit. So, as odd as this sounds, I watched Vikings to honor my ancestors. If you guys know that show.
I haven't watched it, but I want to.
It's so good. I like could not turn it off. Yeah. But it's like that was actually those are my like that's my cult, that's my heritage, that's my line is Vikings. And it really made me think a lot about the Christian indoctrination over the paganism. I've always known somewhere in my line I have strong connection to paganism. Like I've just felt it. And it was watching this show, I was like,
that you're a witch?
yeah. I was like, oh, we were indoctrinated by the Christians. Like it just all made sense. And just like it made me do so much processing. But like little things for your ancestors. Like I have some candlesticks from, I'm looking at them, candlesticks from when my sister was in Sweden that just represent like they just are there to honor my ancestors. So a little something to bring in.
It's funny you said Vikings because there's Lennon. He agreed with
He
that.
agrees.
He agreed. Yeah. But so that really the only thing that I think I know about my dad's side is like Norwegian, descent. And because of my color, my skin color, my hair color, my complete intolerance of heat and my love of cold and all of these other little tiny things, I've always said, oh, I was a total Viking. My grandpa was probably the Viking on the front of the ship. Like I've made that joke for years, but maybe he was.
Yeah. And watching that show, I realized how hard that time was. It was
He was
a
a Viking.
hard.
I just felt him about.
Say that, Crystal.
Definitely a Viking. I just got like a hit in my body.
I mean, it's funny. That has been like, I mean, I say a joke, but something I've said for years.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not a joke.
And it was a hard life. Like a lot of trauma, a lot of fighting, lots of rapes, lots of, you know,
Yeah.
famine, lots of, like, it was not easy.
He's probably like a poet or something random. I want to write poetry.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Mm.
so yeah, we don't need to know the whole story. And I didn't get that he was actually angry. He would be angry if we like knew what happened, is more what I was picking up on. Like, we don't need to go into details, which is true with trauma, right? Like, it's more of how is it playing out in my life? How is it affecting my life? So, Steph, how would it feel if you could go to a restaurant and just be able to make a decision without getting overwhelmed?
Well, the funny thing is, I am it, in my past, I've been a very quick decision maker. Like if I go to the restaurant and the menu, I start to look, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed. I want salmon. I'm done. I close it and I order the salmon. Like, you know, instead of thinking and thinking, I'll make a quick decision. But then sometimes, and the food is not a good thing because I like any food. But then sometimes, I'll overanalyze my decision for weeks to come. And then that's where I'm kind of at now, where it's like, I don't need to make a quick decision on this job change. I need to take action. Things are in action. I need to do things to put wheels in motion. But I only need to do a little bit, and then I need to just stop, because that was the message I was getting, and let some things come to me. And then when they do, I need to just like sit with it for a bit of time.
And
So
I
yeah.
think that's what Crystal was saying, was like, Crystal, I think that's what you heard was,
For her to kind of like ask for guidance on
yeah.
like something to come through, and he'll kind of guide her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like he kind of wants to help you. Like he's showing up to kind of help you. And
that I am actually now feeling.
Okay.
That's the first thing I've felt in this whole session. Everything else has been like, yeah, it makes sense, but that I am feeling now. Yes.
Cool. And so the waiting for the guidance to come through, now you just need to listen and honor him, like honor him. Like I keep like, that's part of the ancestral work, is we honor our ancestors because we are alive. We are alive. We have life because of what they went through.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the ancestral healing. You guys might see some stuff on Instagram. It's like, it's not just about all the bad stuff. It's like, because they lived, there's a lot of really good qualities in their survival skills. So honoring those strengths too. I mean, I want a badass Viking guide.
Take him. I'm kind of not feeling so bad.
Right? Awesome. Steph, do you get a sense that he needs anything else other than for you just to kind of wait and listen and start honoring him?
No, that message was, but you didn't even finish your sentence, and I was getting, that's it.
He's done.
All right. Crystal, are you getting anything else?
No, he's good.
Steph, does your body need to do anything? Do you need to shake or yawn or like clap or dance?
Probably need to take this brown one out. I think I'm going to do that when we're done here. Some outside fresh air would be good, even though it's chilly. But yeah, I'll do that.
Cool. Crystal, do you have any questions?
No, I think it was just, it's good for me to continue to see how to like navigate it, because I think I always stay in my head too long without necessarily like invoking in things, and then I second guess the fact that I do have intuitive hits. So thank
You totally have intuitive hits.
you.
And it brings in the piece of like, you know, we've created a container, we've created a space. This in and of itself is a system. So we allow the other systems to come through. You know, like
Yeah, I think
worse is
what would be good would be like, I know one of my girlfriends, like whenever we start a room, she'll always kind of like create the container. So like some kind of like pre-form mantra or something like that, that I can like lead into my like sessions with,
yeah.
help me like start to learn how to do it myself, I think.
Yeah. And like I haven't told you guys this, I do it before. I have a candle that I light every time we meet together.
Mm.
And then I blow it out when we're done. So it's like I set the space, light the candle, we have our session, and then I blow it out. So there's little things you can definitely do. I mean, I do all sorts of stuff. You guys each have a rock right now by my I have like a little separate, I have my altar, but then I have this container's altar, which is like each of you are a rock. There's a candle, there's the candlesticks from Sweden, there's a little child's toy that a cute little kid gave me, and a card. I drew a card for us, a tarot card. Mm. And my grandmother's salt and pepper shakers, which look like fish. Cute. So it's like once we created the container, I created the altar and like light the candle, and you guys are each represented. So you can do all sorts of stuff.
Do you do that for just group containers, or you do that for one-on-one clients also?
I do that for group containers. And then I had someone told me recently they do it for their one-on-ones, like, because usually their one-on-ones are 8 weeks or something. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's a good idea. I should do it for my 8 weeks as well. Like, Tracy and I met this morning and I didn't, because I feel like Tracy's part of the bigger container. I always make sure when I'm done to shake off, go for a walk, or clear myself energetically. Yeah. No matter what session I'm in. But yeah, drawing you could draw a card before a one-on-one, light a candle, say a mantra.
Cool.
You know. Awesome. Well, fun that we got into family stuff. And on Monday, you guys will hear about it a little bit more briefly, and that and collective. So any other questions? Tracy, anything you want to add as the observer? Okay. Awesome, you guys. If you have any questions, throw them in the Voxer, but otherwise I will just see you on Monday.
Okay.
Wow.
Thanks. Bye.